Oh no. Okay, so I'm up, but no live chat. Darn it. All right. Bear with me, guys. I just have a few minutes before my next client, and I was inspired to come on to talk a little bit about hopping timelines and shifting realities, and also reality frames is something that came up yesterday. I was talking to one of my clients because the latest video, everything is going super slow. The latest video that I put up when we were talking about like channel surfing, right? When you're selecting the reality that you want with you and and the example was with you and your specific person, you want to stay consistent and watch the channel or watch the series of the multiple infinite series where Felix is staring me down and barking at me. They've already eaten about 4 or 5 times today, and they're just like, really, I'm their slave. So I'm sorry if they distract me a little bit, but I still don't see my live chat. Anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about what came up with that client because that recent video really did help a lot of people understand. So it looks like I'm almost there. Hey, little man, little Romeo. He's the cutest thing in the world. I'm on very little sleep. Recently my mom, this is another thing I want to talk about. So I want to talk about a few things and I might bounce a little bit around, but this will be of value. I promise you. My mom recently told me sometimes, I may not get any sleep. I might be super tired. I may go through things like recently in my life, something that completely just shocked me, like happened. It came up and I was like, what the heck? I didn't expect it. I didn't. So anyway, things do happen in my life too, but I bounce back very quickly. And the reason why is because it is taking me now since consciously 2005, 2006. I have been in this practice of I might go deep into like something will smack me in the face and would be really hard, or I don't have any sleep or whatever. And I bounce back and out of things very, very, very quickly. And it could be partly because of, the things in my life where I did like lose it all, but had such strong faith and persisted in trusting that the God, the source of everything that created me in God's image to create, was going to pull me through and that everything was going to be okay. And whatever is happening is literally a bridge to what I really want, what I really identified as being what my true end is. So I think it's because of that I can be hit in the face so hard with my worst fear, worry, doubt, and not have any sleep, be a crying fool. But I go deep in and I let it go and I don't hold on to it. I don't stuff it down. And then I can be up here doing a video and I'm good to go. And I'm not faking it. I'm just like in trust. Like I bounce out of I'll bounce, something happens, part of an old story of something. I go deep. I'm like, I'm not gonna hold this stuff in me. That's gonna be like the beginning of disease. My body can't handle this toxic stuff that's in me, like the pain, the worry, the doubt, the fear, the anger. I am not going to. So I'm going to do, even if it's right in the middle of something happening in my 3D, I'm going to do my best. I'm not perfect and I do screw up too, but I'm going to do my best to realize what's happening. And I want to shift out of this, go into trust, go into my heart, go into forgiveness, go into unconditional love, remind myself of the end, let myself cry, open myself up to healing. If I need to go within and revise some sort of childhood thing that this is bringing up for me or anything, it might not be even childhood. It might be just something triggers me, someone I need to experience somebody apologizing to me most likely. So I go in and I revise something. So I do all that very quickly. If my body needs to cry, I will cry. If I'm angry, if I need to shout in a pillow, I will. You need to, when things happen in your reality, you need to express, you need to get that anger out. Let it get out of you so you don't become a pressure cooker. And then you bounce back and you're hopping timelines. Okay. You are literally hopping timelines when you do this. And your reality is shifting. And even if you don't see the difference yet in your 3D, you're not waiting for it, looking for it because you're too busy in trust and faith and enjoying your life and realizing that what's happening and why it's happening. And it actually becomes a good thing that you can almost in a weird way get excited about. Because if something went against you so hard that it hurts so bad, and you go deep and you just get all that stuff out and you go back into your trust, you can actually get into excitement now because you know, okay, awesome. So if that happened, then it must mean that this is happening. Because if I've been good and I've been focused and disciplined, it's literally impossible for me not to be in that reality. So if this is happening, this is a bridge, and I'm going to let this go. And I know everybody in the community is like, the purge doesn't exist. That's a limiting belief. But I don't care what you label it. When the opposite comes up, it's a thing that people experience, obviously, or people wouldn't, there wouldn't be like, this is just silly to even talk about this. Let it go, drop it. Don't worry about it, whether it's going to happen or not. And when if it does happen, deal with it. So anyway, and I was saying that like with my mom, sometimes when I make videos, she's like, honey, I would never know it. Like looking at you, I would never, like, she saw me one day. I don't remember what day it was. It may have been the week of my quote unquote vacation, which really sucked. It just did. I didn't, things happened that I wasn't expecting to happen. And I didn't get the rest that I needed. So I'm going to do a do over. But my mother, um, one day she knew I hadn't slept really at all. And then I did a video and she was watching the video. She goes, honey, you wouldn't even know. She could see in person. She was like, wow, you really like, I can tell you need to sleep. She said, but looking at the video, I would never know. And that's because, adrenaline is hitting me. And I'm also like shifted out of the pain body. I've released it. I've let it go. I've gone back into trust and I feel good. I legitimately feel good because I'm like letting the old stuff go, letting the old stuff go. Okay. You are popping off. Okay. So let me think the other thing. So I wanted to talk about, if I have time, I only have 11 minutes. So hopping timelines, shifting states and realities, because when you are shifting, when things happen and you shift, you kind of go into pain body a little bit, but then you remember what's happening. You remember what's happening. So it's like, hold on. We have like infinite, I can't see it, there's a delay, but there are infinite realities happening all at once, right? You're the atom, and the atom is in its superposition at the same time, literally. Like when it's unobserved, it's in multiple positions all at once. So we'll pretend that there's just four, right? But you're made up of these atoms and everything else is too. So now I can see that we can see this. So if this is if the red is your ideal, and you get hit in the face with the orange, the yellow, or the green, so then you're going to, okay, don't shift and believe that this is it now, because now you're hopping into this timeline or this outcome or that outcome. Okay. You want to stay super clear that, okay, little remnants and residuals of this came up, but this is what I want. So I'm going to literally just drop all of everything else and only focus all my attention and energy on this. And then I might get a mix of this or that. But remember that this is always going to be existing. This is always going to be existing. So is this. So if you have your ideal life with you and your specific person, that you guys are in sync together, you've gotten past all the BS, like, I don't know, somehow, some way, and it's not up to you. This is up to God, not your job at all. Like the whole point is just focus all your energy and attention on this. Whatever needs to happen to make this happen is happening literally right now as you're listening to me. Okay. So if you get a taste of any of these, those are still going to be existing. You're just going to focus on this so you can hop timelines and shift into this reality. So if you get the opposite come up, right? Don't worry so much because this is still there. It's just you shifted and hopped timelines into this a little bit. No big deal. Don't make it a big deal. Don't stay there. Just stay focused on this and drop everything else and stay super focused. And then we were talking about reality frames. And I was saying how the other way to take this is if you think about a movie, a film reel, I know you guys have heard this before, but you think on a film reel, there are frames. There are frames. And a film reel goes like this linear, like it's playing on the film reel, right? The movie is playing out on a film reel. But if you think of each individual frame like boom, 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 right? They're all connected, all of these frames. So if you're watching a slow, so I go like this, and you're watching me at on a film reel, you're watching me, but it's slow, it's in slow motion. You would see this, right? Boom. So you think that it's this slice of a frame connected to this slice of a frame, connected to this frame, connected to this frame. But in all actuality, none of these frames, when it comes to infinite realities, none of these frames are actually connected to each other. So in other words, you can just cut the reel of the film of the movie that you don't like, cut it, cut the film reel, let it go, discard it. It's not related to the present moment, the now, okay? That's another way to think about infinite realities, okay? The other thing I wanted to talk about was I got an email this morning from, so before I get on with the next point I want to talk about with my client that just got a text from her SP after silence for a while. Okay, let me just get my thought together here for a second. I don't want to lose this. It's very important. Oh my goodness, am I losing it? I might be losing it. Okay, that's okay. So let me go into this. No. Yes, I lost it. Okay, digital marketing. I'm just going to talk about this. If the other thing comes back, I have to say it because I think it was important. So my client, she's gone into digital marketing. And so we were talking about the old story with her old version of herself, reality, old version of her specific person. She hadn't heard from him in a long time. And this was, our session was yesterday. So I said, okay, listen, you need to realize that you've projected a story onto him. So think of it like this, because she's into digital marketing now. I use software as an example. And you know, I'm like a walking metaphor library for some reason. So the image that you have in your mind of your person, imagine a picture of his face. And you love him so much. He's so handsome. Now you're in the software, and in the software, you have layers. When you're in design software, you have layers of things. So you take a layer, kind of a transparent layer, and you place it over the picture of your person's face. And in this layer, it's like a filter, but it's added distortion, and it's actually made him look very scary to you. Okay. So your person, the handsome person who you love so much, that is still there, but there's this filter that's made him look very scary to you. Like you don't trust being with him. But the reason you don't trust being with him, what you've projected onto him, has nothing actually to do with him. It has to do with old story of being abandoned, rejected, not being good enough, somehow being harmed from other people in your reality that you have projected onto him. So he's there and ready, wanting to be, with you and wanting to love you, but you need to delete this filter, this layer that you have over him, so you can actually see the real him and get really clear about what's in your heart and soul. How do you feel into him? Because that's the real version of him. Okay. So you don't keep attaching the toxic baggage from your past onto your person, because it's just not fair. Now, sometimes in some cases in the 3D, some people have actually manifested actual circumstances, and other people, there's another collective that actually you're just perceiving something that's not even there, because, no matter how much, if I love somebody and I've given my all to them, and I've given them my time, attention, and affection, I've literally given them everything. I've nurtured them. I've loved them. I've been there for them. And I've literally prioritized them. If they are seeing me with their baggage from their past, no matter what I say and do, it will literally never be enough. Does that make sense? And I know that's a very 3D way of saying it, but anyway, that's what I want to say. So delete the filter, wipe it all clean from your person. And so this is what I said to her. And I said, go within and let go of like, see him for who he really is, put him over here and get clear on that. And then you might need to let your little energetic part of you that's projecting this stuff onto them, let that little part of you know. First of all, you don't have to be fully healed, by the way, to let yourself be with your person. You just got to turn to each other instead of this stuff. You just have to let yourself, like, you don't have to be fully healed to be in the relationship, but you just have to make sure that you feel safe. Because if you have this filter distorting your person, you're not going to feel safe. And if you don't feel safe, it's like this. There's a wall that you have up and your person's like this. Hey, I'm ready. And you're like, nope. And they're like, I'm ready when you are. I love you, but you're not letting me in because you're seeing them as being something that's going to hurt you. So why would you ever let anybody in your life if deep down you're afraid of them, but you're afraid of them because of this stuff from your past? Hopefully that makes sense. So anyway, it hit her when I gave her that, I'm looking at the little thing that I just did on the laptop. When I gave her that example, it really hit her. And then this morning he texted her out of nowhere. Okay. So we talked a little bit about hopping timelines, shifting states and realities, and getting excited actually after you. So when the opposite shows up, okay, it showed up. Get out of resistance of it already. Just get out of resistance of it. It showed up. It's the old assumption playing itself out. Go into forgiveness, go into unconditional love, get back in your end, decide who you are, decide who they are, what's your relationship like, what's your life, trust in God, surrender, detach, and let all of the crying out of your system. Don't stuff everything down. All right? So just realize that. And then after you've gotten it out of all your system, you are going to be leveled up again and you're going to be fine. And then you're going to be shifting your state, which means you're going to be shifting realities again. And then you'll be back in the timeline of this instead of that. And just remember, they're all existing all at once. It's not like, okay, so if you have a situation with your person that you don't like, that reality is going to continue to exist. You're just not going to be in it or aware of it. You're going to only be aware of this one. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Anyway, I love you guys. I have to go. Just wanted to say also, there was another, because I wanted to buy MetaQuest 3 virtual reality, mixed reality glasses. I'm just not sure if I am actually going to do it because of some mixed reviews that I read. But I'm going to come up with another video of that too, because looking at that with the interface, when you're looking in the virtual reality, mixed reality goggles, and you can just look and see, and you're actually seeing your space of where you are right now, but you also see kind of a transparent menu and you see things now in your space. You can kind of visualize like that too. Like when you're wanting to manifest the relationship with your person throughout the day without becoming obsessive, like no matter what you're doing, you can just kind of you don't have to go into sats or anything. You can, you do want to go into sats like morning, noon, and night. But I'm saying to do this, you can kind of just like see and imagine from first person, like you going for a walk, you imagine you guys holding hands, laughing together, wake up, kiss, hug, dance, cooking. I talk about this all the time, but you can just kind of superimpose it right there in your reality. Okay, you can just kind of lightly imagine it without, it doesn't have to be complicated. I'm not saying to have this replace actual sats. Sats I do think is very good. And I'm not saying for that to replace the inner work. I also noticed that sometimes, oh, my other client's starting now. Sometimes people are just like, yeah, I just don't feel like I need to do the work because I trust in my end. And I'm like, okay. But then what happens is because they weren't persisting, if they get caught off guard, then they really get thrown off a lot because they weren't kind of getting themselves in a place where they really feel trusting in the new version of them and the new version of their reality. So you want to make that more dominant. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I hope that this video was of some value. Let me see. I got to go because my client's starting now. I got to go. I can't answer anybody's questions. I love you so much. If I can see the chat later and if there's anything I can answer and create a video for, I will. Okay. I love you. Have an amazing day. And I got to sign off now. Bye. Sorry.